All right, Coach Gaglione, back here again. We got another question. This was actually a question I had on Facebook a while ago, and one of the coaches just wanted some more information about training with bands. So it's really kind of general question, but we love using bands. We utilize bands for so many different movements. As far as with myself, the one I use bands the most often is on a dynamic day. So on a day I'm trying to really focus on building explosive power and explosive strength, and we'll utilize band for both the squat and the deadlift on a lower body day, and we'll utilize the band on the bench press as well. And typically we'll use submaximal weight, so usually a lighter weight, somewhere between 50 and 65% most of the time. Sometimes a little bit lighter if the band tension is super heavy. And we'll do multiple sets, so higher number of sets and a lower number of repetitions. So using a lot of sets for a small amount of reps, trying to produce the most amount of force possible, and we try and move as quickly as we can through those sets. Other things that we'll utilize bands for is for reverse band, and we'll use that more of a max effort exercise, so a heavy strength exercise anywhere from as high as 5 repetitions and as low as singles. So, but typically, usually three reps to a heavy single is utilized for a reverse band method, and we'll use that for squats, deadlifts, and bench press again, and we could vary the tension. Usually, things like squats and deadlifts, we'll use a little bit heavier of a band because you're a little bit stronger on those exercises, and for something like a bench press, you'd use a little bit less. But you could feel free to experiment with other different types of reverse band and barbells versus bands with other exercises like overhead presses and stuff like that. We just don't do it a ton. We've done it in the past, typically with the bands, I only use it with a very select few people. With some of my advanced college athletes who have literally been training with me for maybe like 3 years plus. Most of them 4 or 5 years they've been with me. So those are the really only people utilizing bands with barbells. No beginners for that. Other things we utilize bands for, besides reverse band and dynamic work with the bar, we use it for the assistance for body weight movement and also for resistance. So if someone's really struggling with push-ups, we'll use bands to kind of help them and assist them through the range of motion so they can still work on the technique and they can still build strength in that pattern. And sometimes we'll actually use the Gray Cook bands for some of these movements specifically, and other times we'll use like the drum stretch or the classic, elite fitness bands for other movements, such as like an assisted pull-up and stuff like that. And, do you have to use bands for this kind of training? No. You could also work the angle. You could work isometrics, so static holds, and eccentric, where you're just lowering your body. So you don't have to use bands, but those are some of the ways I'll utilize them. And like I said, you could also use it as resistance. So typically the only movement we really use the band for resistance is usually push-ups. So sometimes if people just don't feel like loading up chains or a weight vest, they'll just grab a band and just go to town on that. And then we'll just do it for sometimes we don't have any cables, which is by design just to save space. So we utilize the band for different types of cable training, so like tricep extensions, sometimes curls, face pulls, rear delts, so like rear delt flies, lat pull downs, and mostly lat pull downs and tricep extensions, to tell you the truth. But also face pulls and band pull aparts, we utilize that a lot. And then, just some more isolation and assistance movements for the band. So that's kind of like all the band training that we do in a nutshell. I think it's a real versatile tool. And as far for the strength training, and then we'll also really utilize the bands for mobility and also to improve flexibility as well. So we like to utilize a 3-way band hamstring stretch at the end of our workouts, also for tractioning the upper body, the chest, posterior capsule, and the shoulder, stretching out the lats. It's going to help improve your overhead position and just open up the chest if you're always kind of like in a slouched posture. And all like the different types of band tractioning techniques and mobility techniques that Kelly Starrett teaches to a lot of his CrossFit seminars and CrossFit coaches across the country. I love using Kelly Starrett stuff, so we really like to use to really open up the hips. So we'll use that. Um, we love using the bands for that, where you attach it to a power rack and stuff like that. So if you're not really sure about some of this stuff and you want like a more specific example, or you want to see a video or a picture or whatever, and you want maybe an article or a blog post, just drop a comment below. And but that's really all the types of bands. So we use bands to improve power. We use bands to improve strength. We use bands to improve muscle hypertrophy and strength endurance, and also for mobility and flexibility. So they're very useful tool. Very useful tool. I think every gym should have bands. They're inexpensive. They can throw them in your gym bag, and they're going to get you a lot stronger, faster, and more fit. So start doing some bands in your training. All right, that's my message for this week. Coach Gaglione out. Talk to you guys soon.